Let's Talk About. And I don't know if this is a Let's Talk About or if it should go in books for other authors. It's kind of both. So I've read The Teacher by Freida McFadden. I keep seeing the film on Netflix. And I wanted to read the book before seeing the film. So, totally jealous. I've spoken to Freida. She's lovely. We both of us are on the same group. I mean, me and 300 million other people. She doesn't just talk to me exclusively. But I read The Teacher, and people are so split with this lady, and she's lovely. She writes in such a... When I say simple, I don't mean it in a derogatory fashion. She writes in a very simple, easy reading style, and I love that. There's nothing worse than one of these new indie authors that write 1,000-word sentences when I am okay will do. Freida cuts it back. She writes nice and simply. I love her writing style. I enjoyed the book. It was my favourite of the three. I've read 3 of her books now. I've read 2 of the Housemaid series, and I've read The Teacher. The Teacher was by far my favourite. But people either love her or hate her. And some of the spite and vitriol is so unnecessary. I read, and this is the point of the piece, I read one of her 1-star reviews. She's got probably about 30 1-star reviews. That shows how big she is. If she's got 30 1-star reviews, imagine how many hundreds of thousands of 5-star reviews she's got. I read one, and it gave every detail of the final twist. And I thought, you nasty, spiteful bitch, why would you do that? Somebody did the same thing to me on one of my books, on A Question of Sanity, and she put, it's twins, so what? Exclamation marks times 10. Well, who'd do that? And the thing is, she was wrong. The reveal is not twins. She was completely wrong, which she'd have found out if she'd bothered to read the rest of the book. She obviously read a little bit, decided it was twins, gave up. Similar thing with Freida. Somebody has written her a horrible 1-star review and gave every detail of the final twist. Now, I'm going to have to be very careful how I word this, not to do the same thing. I also had problems with the final twist. How do I say this? It's something that the lead character knew all along, but the author hid it too well. There might have been the odd teeny tiny little clue in there, but it should have been more, so that when the reveal comes, the reader can say, oh, yes, it was there all along. She kind of used a bit of deception there, I think. There was a relationship thing that is explained, and we get it. We have that moment of, oh, clever. But the actual knowing, the character knew all along and the reader didn't. And that's okay if it's done properly. But I think in this case, it was author deception. That said, I love the book. The other thing I loved about it, seeing as I've gone into a review here, which I didn't mean to do, but seeing as I have, I might as well carry on. What I loved about the book is there wasn't one character that was likeable. Now, normally that would put me right off. If you've got nobody to root for, you want a character to say, yeah, I want them to come out, I want them to do well, I want them to have a good time of it. The characters in this book are horrible. They're all horrible, unpleasant people, but it didn't spoil the book. My sympathies with the husband for a while, and then they weren't, and then they were with one of the kids, and then they weren't. So yeah, a cracking read. Freida McFadden, the teacher. Give it a go. But guys, please, if you're going to review a book, if it's not for you, fine. It's not for you. Say it's not for you. Give it a 1-star review. DNF it if you want to. Do not finish. But please don't spoil it for anybody else reading it. Anybody that reads that review might as well not bother reading the book. Simple as that. And it's a nasty, mean-spirited, spiteful thing to do, both to the author and every reader the author has. My little sermon for the day. My sermon on the mount. But I'm not on a mountain. I'm sitting in my office chair, which you might have noticed. Nice chat. Thank you.